Let's talk about 7 fish you should avoid eating, ones that are best left off your plate. But before you take your first bite, there's something I need to tell you. Not all fish are created equal, and some can do more harm than good. I'm going to show you the 7 fish you should steer clear of. Folks, this is a really interesting topic, so let me know which part of Brazil or the world you're watching from, and also tell me what your favorite fish is. Is it salmon, tuna, sardines, or maybe shark? Personally, I'm a big fan of tuna. How about you? What's your favorite fish? Go ahead and write it in the chat or comments, and I'll get right to the point, folks. Without any delay, let's jump straight to the 7th fish, which is quite controversial. It's controversial because it's one of the most widely consumed fish here, and that's tilapia. Wait, what do you mean, Dr. João? Should I really be avoiding tilapia? Why should I stay away from tilapia? Everyone says tilapia is healthy because its flesh is so white, but why should we actually avoid it? Folks, tilapia is one of the most consumed fish, not just here in Brazil, but worldwide. So why isn't it a good option? It's simple. Tilapia has more omega-6 than omega. This is the same reason why soybean oil isn't healthy, while olive oil is. Soybean oil has a lot of omega-6 and little omega-3, whereas olive oil has a lot of omega-3 and little omega-6. In our diet, it's always preferable to have more omega-3 than omega-6 because excess omega-6 causes inflammation, high blood pressure, and increases heart disease risk. Tilapia is actually one of the fish with the least omega-3 compared to its omega-6 content. Why does this happen? It's because tilapia is farm raised and they're fed with feed that's low in omega-3 but high in omega-6. And there's more to it, folks. Besides this reason, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio isn't advantageous or particularly interesting. Many suppliers use carcinogenic chemicals that are banned in several countries to combat parasites in fish farms, and many suppliers also use high levels of antibiotics, which can contribute to microbial resistance, antibiotic resistance, which is extremely undesirable because it will make bacteria resistant to the antibiotics that we currently have, creating superbugs, which can't be fought with these medications. So these are the reasons why tilapia isn't a good option, and we'll see in a moment that it's always better to choose, when possible, fish that aren't raised in captivity, which is precisely what doesn't happen with tilapia, as it's typically farmed and raised in these environments, okay? The 6th fish, folks, is the mackerel or true mackerel. There are several species known as mackerel or horse mackerel that are considered healthy, but true mackerel often contains high levels of mercury. This mercury accumulates in the body and can cause various health issues, including neurological and kidney problems, as well as developmental issues in children. If a pregnant woman consumes fish high in mercury, it can lead to harmful effects on fetal development. True mackerel is a predatory fish at the top of the food chain, which causes it to accumulate toxins through a process called trophic magnification. So while a small fish might have little mercury, a fish that eats 2 small fish will end up with the mercury from both of those fish. Mackerel, being a large fish that eats many smaller fish, will ultimately accumulate the mercury from all those smaller fish, and it can't get rid of this heavy metal. As a result, it keeps accumulating toxins and heavy metals over time, which aren't eliminated by the fish and end up persisting, remaining in the fish's tissue and flesh. And then when you eat this fish with mercury-laden meat, guess where that mercury goes? Into your body. That's why we should avoid eating true mackerel. The 5th fish is the orange roughy. It's a deep sea fish, not very popular here in Brazil, but well known in the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, where it's called orange roughy. Roughy is spelled R-O-U-G-H-Y, and orange refers to its color. It's known for its longevity, living over 200 years in some cases, and they don't reach maturity until they're 30 years old. So if you eat an orange roughy, you're probably consuming a fish that's at least 30 years old, meaning it's had 30 years to accumulate accumulate toxins and heavy metals like mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and lead. These 4 metals I just mentioned are actually the main culprits when it comes to heavy metal poisoning. So what problems can heavy metals cause? Inflammation, fatigue, mental confusion, depression, circulatory issues, artery problems, and the orange roughy, also known as the clockfish, has mercury levels 10 times higher than the average of other fish. So its mercury levels are significantly higher. For instance, they're about 6 to 7 times higher than the mercury levels found in tuna, which is a fish we'll see is healthy, but we need to be cautious about precisely because of its mercury content. The orange roughy has absurdly high amounts of mercury, and for this reason it should be avoided. Additionally, it's also low in omega-3, and it's at risk of extinction because it's a deep-sea fish. So it's difficult to farm this fish in captivity, and they're being overfished because it's highly prized, which ends up threatening the survival of the species and the entire marine ecosystem. And speaking of mercury, the next 3 fish I'm going to mention also have high levels of this metal, which is why they should be avoided. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you to hit the like button on this video. Let's make this video go viral because many people don't realize that certain types of fish can actually be harmful. Not all fish are healthy just because they're fish. So not everyone has this information. Not everyone knows, for instance, that a fish I'll mention shortly called dogfish shouldn't be consumed, even though it's quite popular in our cuisine. So please like this video, give it a thumbs up, because this will help spread this content to more people. So your like could help someone else discover which fish they should avoid. So let's get to it. Fish number 4, 3, and 2. Swordfish, which is that big sword-like fish that we incorrectly call swordfish. His actual name is swordfish. That huge one that sport fishing enthusiasts love to catch, which is beautiful. The dogfish, which is a type of shark, and also the needlefish. These 3 fish have high levels of mercury, both because they have a long lifespan and they accumulate this mercury over the years, as well as because they are predators and they accumulate mercury from the small fish they consume. And what are the risks of mercury? Cardiovascular problems, immunological, endocrinological, neurological issues. It can cause osteoporosis, thyroid failure, adrenal gland failure, problems for the fetus. And an interesting fact is that fish from the Mediterranean Sea in Europe, Africa, North Africa, they usually have much more mercury than fish from the Atlantic Ocean. Got it. This is just for your information. And our first fish that should be avoided, I know many people wouldn't even dare to eat this fish, but I personally love it. Those who enjoy Japanese food might have had the option to try it. It's highly appreciated in Japanese cuisine, which is eel. Well, folks, we know that in some cases raw eel meat and eel blood can be harmful to our bodies, but this is easily solved by cooking the fish. Now, the eel, it absorbs many toxins. Studies have shown that eels contain clothing dye in their environments. In Taiwan, where eel consumption is high, eels have been found to contain high levels of cadmium, a metal that can cause osteomalacia, a condition where bones become weak and soft and can also lead to kidney problems. Moreover, eel consumption isn't sustainable. It's difficult to farm eels in captivity, and overfishing combined with habitat destruction puts the species at risk. Apart from the usual advice given during Holy Week about how to choose fish, it's best to opt for smaller, younger fish, as they're less likely to have accumulated toxins over time. Folks, fish are crucial to our diet, so it's beneficial to eat fish 2 to 3 times a week. Additionally, it's important to engage in physical activity, having a healthy diet overall, managing your anxiety, sleeping well, avoiding alcohol, not smoking. All these lifestyle changes can transform your life for the better, and I'll teach you how to do it. In my book, The Longevity Code and More, you'll learn how to control your blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and anxiety without medication, as well as improve your sleep, all without needing drugs, doctors, or tests. So if you haven't read my book yet, you're missing out on the opportunity to have a healthier life with more energy and vitality. Click now on the first link in the description or the pinned comment and get your longevity code right now for just $25.90 in the digital version. Simply fill in your details, and as soon as the payment is processed, you'll receive the book file in your email inbox. And if you're not satisfied, no problem. I'll refund your money. You have an unconditional satisfaction guarantee, and I offer this because I'm confident that the content in the book will be crucial in helping you transform your quality of life for the better. Palmyra, who already has the book, recommends it. Palmyra is one of thousands of readers who have already purchased and implemented the book's guidelines, and as a result have reaped the excellent benefits of a healthy lifestyle.